Hello and welcome back to the channel. So for this year's Halloween video, I thought that I would record myself drawing one of the Artober prompts that I did. I made my own Artober list this year and it was very smallest. I knew I wasn't going to be able to draw a whole lot of it because I was going to be very busy this year. It was already shaping out to be very busy. Most of my weekends were full and I work a full-time job, so I wasn't going to have all that much time after work to do it either. So I just kind of made a small list of my top 5 to 4 favorite prompts, and I was just going to draw from that. The very first one I wanted to do was Oracle, which I did last year, and I really liked doing that one last year. I put a lot of effort into it. This year, I'm kind of a little more exhausted, don't have as much time, so I cut it down to just a simple background, full body picture of an Oracle witch, which personally I think came out really well. I really liked the initial sketch. I hadn't picked out any palette or anything for the final version, which in hindsight, kids always pick a palette. It makes it a lot faster and a lot easier on you later down the line. But we're not there yet. Firstly, I inked mostly head to toe on this one, which I don't normally do. I normally jump around the page a whole lot, but I was getting really in the groove with this and it just sort of flowed like that. I recently got some new Adderall medication, so I've been able to focus a lot better recently. Been mostly house chores, but hey, I've been putting that stuff off for 6 months, and progress is progress. So at this point in the drawing, I was beginning to actually start thinking of a palette, because at this point I'm just doing the very, it's not mundane, but it's very predictable task of inking everything. So I'm giving my brain a little bit of a chance to think of other things. And one of the things I thought of was, I want a palette for this. I ended up not settling on any kind of palette, and in the end I just ended up coloring it whatever I wanted and changing the colors a lot. So the inking process was actually the one that took the least amount of time, whereas normally it takes me the most amount of time. The most amount of time I spent on was actually trying to color this piece. I was jumping between colors relentlessly the whole time. Hey, so remember that thing about a palette? So I forgot to actually record that part. So instead, please enjoy these finished photos of the piece that I colored. I went with a very muted palette. I didn't want to have anything too jumpy because I wanted the gold embellishments and the red to really pop against that dark blue and the dark top. Again, I went through many colors with this, and frankly, I'm really happy how she came out. Since this is such a short video, I'm going to give you a second prompt. This one is candle, and I drew it out by hand, and then I did a little transfer method. You can't see here, but you will see when I peel it back. All of that initial drawing I did in my sketchbook, scanned it, printed it out on a bigger sheet of paper, and then did the transferring method of just using lead from a pencil and then drawing over it with I prefer to use mechanical pencil because it is a consistent width the whole time. So it feels more like I'm inking with a pen. And I went very meticulous here. I wanted the flaming head to be a focal point in terms of like how clean and precise the inking was, and so I spent a lot of time there. So you can see here, that is what it looks like when I did all the lead on the back, and I'm slowly peeling it off so it doesn't tear the paper. There we go. So after that, I took my kneaded eraser and I, stretched it all out, made sure it was nice and good to go, not covered in splotches or anything, and just rolled that over there so that the pencil was as thin and light as possible. And then I started going in with all of my ink pens. Those are all the ones that I used. And yes, I did use every single one at least once. I think the white gel pen I ended up using just to cover blemishes, but all of the other pens I did use at least once to ink this entire piece. Once again, I was being very meticulous with the flaming head. I actually broke up some of the lines because I feel like it'd feel a bit more like flame if it wasn't consistent lineage all the way through, if there were a little bit of breaking points. And I think the head took me the longest to ink because the body is very simple in shape and design. It took just some swaths of the ink pen and I was pretty much done. So yeah, as you can see here, the body took me no time at all, and the candle holder might have taken me the most time actually besides the head. If the head took me the most time, the candle holder took me second most. And as you can see here, my cat decided to inspect my workstation. Thanks, V. Getting back into it, the candle holder I wanted to have a bit of a decorative handle because, well, to be frank, the rest of the piece is pretty bland and I wanted to have a little bit of flourish with it. So I really spruced up the handle. It's the piece that I knew I could make the most detailed I don't really have a lot of candle holders in my memory, and it was a little difficult trying to find a decorative one that I liked online, so I just kind of winged it with this one. So then I started going in with my gray alcohol marker and started just doing some basic shadings. I would layer over it to get a little darker. I don't think I went and ever got a different one to use, so all of the gray shading I did with this pen alone. I just started going in and I was layering it to make them darker and darker in each tone. Honestly, it was a lot of fun trying to figure out where all of the darker shades were going to be, especially in the flaming head. Flame is by far not solid, not consistent, it's constantly changing. It was really fun to try and figure out for myself where I'm going to layer some of those colors. And a couple of times I was like, okay, no, I made that too dark, I gotta fix the contrast around that. And it was a fun challenge, it was not an intentional challenge. Yes. So I did not know that this pen was blue. I laid down that first line and I had a moment of, oh, shoot. Because, frankly, the pen cap is such a deep blue that it looked almost black when I grabbed it initially from my desk. I totally forgot that this was a blue pen instead of just a black pen. I had initially planned for this whole piece to be black and white, but now there's a pop of color in it, which I ended up carrying through to another piece, which you can find on my Instagram. The green ghosties. They were fun. So I went back in with the gray pen to try and shade it a bit better, because the blue one, while I could layer it, it didn't look like it was really drying into layers very often, so I thought another color might help with that, so I put it back with the gray one. Frankly, I don't know if you can really tell. I think in person it transfers a lot better. But anyway, those are the two pieces. I did them for Artober. I had a lot of fun with them, and I hope to do more pieces in the future. Have a good day, and I'll see you all next time.